Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever the case may be. Welcome to This Week in Random. I am your host, Mike S. Miller. You are on Blacklist Universe. Do like, subscribe, share, do all that fun stuff. Today, in the world of comics and movies, Sony and Disney can't seem to stop, saber rattling and acting like they can't work out this problem. As Sony Pictures chief on Spider-Man split says, for the moment, the door is closed. For the moment. These are just two. This is all going to work out. I can't imagine that the people, the powers that be, knowing what a multi-billion-dollar franchise Spider-Man is and how they can ultimately all share in this prize, if they figure out how to work together, can't figure out how to work together. But for the moment, this is the news of the day. Sony Pictures chief says the door's closed. The door is closed. Fans holding out hope that Spider-Man might be returning to the Marvel Cinematic Universe will be disappointed to hear that for the moment the door is closed, according to Sony Pictures chairman and CEO Tony Vinciquerra. Vinciquerra? I've never heard that name before. Vinciquerra! Speaking at Variety's Entertainment and Technology Summit, Vinciquerra cryptically added that it's a long life. What? Implying that perhaps in the distant future, the web-slinging hero might swing his way back to the Disney co-owned company. Oh, Disney-owned company. I'm sorry, I'm flubbing today. Vinciquerra insisted that there's no ill will between Sony and Marvel. After the two failed to this is like when parents get divorced and they're trying to convince the kids that it's not your fault. Your dad and I still love each other. It's like, if you loved each other, you wouldn't be getting divorced, would you? But playing it up for the audience, Sony and Marvel, after the two failed to reach an agreement on financial terms for upcoming Spider-Man movies, effectively removing Tom Holland's Spider-Man from the Marvel fold in terms of both future standalone and team-up features. However, he did acknowledge the fan backlash to the news, saying that it has been an interesting couple of weeks for the studio. There's a video up here. It's got Jon Favreau complaining about it. It's got Jeff Goldblum, and it's got some of the other Avengers stars. It's on Variety.com if you want to check that video out. Vinciquerra pointed to Marvel boss Kevin Feige being stretched incredibly thin with new additions coming into the MCU as one of the reasons behind the breakdown in talks. So rather than bending a bit so that you can utilize the single most worldwide well-known character in your entire stable, you're going to worry about being stretched too thin because you're dealing with crap like Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel and all the new fourth phase wokeness. Come on. This is a business, and you have a fandom in the millions in this world, the tens of millions, dare I say the hundreds of millions, who will plunk down cold hard cash for good Spider-Man stuff, who are not spending a dime on Miss Marvel, or God forbid Squirrel Girl. So please, pull your heads out of your collective... Let's move on. We had a great run with Feige on Spider-Man movies, the Sony chief said. We tried to see if there's a way to work it out. We tried so hard. The Marvel people are terrific people. It's not your fault, honey. We have great respect for them, but on the other hand, we have some pretty terrific people of our own. Kevin didn't do all the work. Ooh. Get a little dig in there at the end, huh? Now that one of its biggest properties is back solely in its hands, Vinciquerra said that Sony plans to launch its own universe using the vast array of Spider-Man characters. The studio is in production on a second Venom film, which I gotta say, was a dumb popcorn movie. It was enjoyable, but dumb. There were some scenes that were just like, what are you doing? But, you know, turn off your brain, watch things explode. That's the kind of movie Venom is. However, if they do a crossover with Spider-Man, I could see it being at least far more interesting. A picture based on the character Morbius and 5 or 6 TV series set in the Spider-Man world. The Sony boss bullishly expressed his belief that the characters will do just fine outside of the MCU, pointing to the success of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Sony Amazon series The Boys as evidence that Sony is fully capable of hitting the mark on the superhero front. You know what they can do? They can just work out a... You know how in the old days, movie studios used to have movie stars on exclusive contracts, right? It's the way it worked. And what they would do is they would exchange. It's not that hard. You'd exchange. Okay, I want to use Clark Gable for my film. Here, you can have Rita Hayworth for yours. It's not that hard to work out, you silly, childish executives. It's all, they're so money grubbing. They just want control of everything. And I mean, come on, grow up. Grow up. Somebody needs to spank you people. Spider-Man was fine before the event movies, did better with the event movies, and now that we have our own universe, he will play off the other characters as well, Vince Sequeira said. I think we're pretty capable of doing what we have to do here. Yeah, I mean, that's fine, but you set up a relationship with Aunt May. You set up all this stuff. Now you can't even do callbacks to Tony Stark. You set Spider-Man up as Tony Stark version 2.0. And you won't be able to use the baloney. No. No. You can't. If you can't use that stuff, you have to completely shift your storyline. And you can't do that. So, guys, just go sit down at the table, work it out, cancel the divorce, figure this stuff out. It's not that hard. Loan Spider-Man to the Marvel. Marvel will loan whatever you need for your next Spider-Man. It's not that hard. Why is this even an issue? Many have expressed the hope that Spider-Man might still remain in the MCU with Marvel stalwart Jon Favreau. I keep saying John, commenting during his keynote conversation at Entertainment and Tech Summit that the split is not for lack of trying. Baloney. This is completely a lack of trying. I've been talking to everybody about it. I'm cautiously optimistic, Favreau said of the Spidey situation. I think it's a long way away, and I think collaboration has been really strong up to this point, so I'm hopeful that there's a way for us all to play together going forward. Of course there is. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. This is all baloney. Just get it done and stop making me waste time making these videos. Putting the web slinger aside, Vince Sequeira firmly stated that Sony Studios is not for sale. Despite regular press coverage to the contrary, the Sony boss also discussed the studio's decision to stay out of the streaming wars thus far in terms of general market, a decision which he said allows Sony to be more transparent with its creators by not becoming beholden to any platform. Yeah, the deal is with Sony is Sony making movies is not everything Sony is about. Sony makes the technology people watch their movies on. Can Disney say this? No. No, they cannot. So no, Disney is not going to be buying Sony in order to get Spider-Man. They missed the boat on that one. I believe they had the opportunity to do so some while ago, but they didn't. And it is what it is. Vince Sequeira said that when he first... This is terrible. Vince Sequeira said that when he first came to Sony in 2017, he saw the need to make sweeping changes at the studio to keep up with the rise of streaming. With the evolution of the business into the streaming world, both on the theatrical and television side, the opportunities are terrific, but the organizations that were in place at the time were not suited or designed to take advantage of those opportunities, he said. we were able to transition in a relatively short period of time to be representative of what the business looks like. And that's what I enjoy doing. And that's what's fun about the job. As for where in the streaming landscape Seinfeld, one of Sony's most beloved properties, will end up, Vince Guerrero is suitably tight-lipped. Who cares about Seinfeld? Anyways, again, and I don't want to regurgitate this too much. This is all baloney. This will blow over. They'll figure something out. It is not brain surgery to figure out how to get Marvel and Sony to work together to make an equitable plan, as long as Disney isn't being just super freaking greedy. And I think that's what it is. Disney's just super greedy, and they want more profit off of this character that they just don't have the rights to. Disney, you make enough money. All right? You make enough money. Just freaking make the deal and make everybody happy and stop being the cringy mouse that you are. Have a great day. Like, subscribe, share. I'll be back later for more. I hope you are too.